We're live. I'm loving the Panthers Cup. Can you give us another visual of that?
Yeah. Premiers.
Is that from last year?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I didn't from it with pride,
dude. I didn't actually have a proper chat to you about that, mate. The Panthers victory. How did you celebrate?
Oh well, I was watching it with a good friend who's also a Panthers fan. So
Yeah.
Look, it was a very tense game. I remember that. It wasn't until the last really 45 seconds that I felt we had it in the bag.
Yeah.
And it was much jumping around and a few bro hugs going around.
Was he a Penrith fan?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we had a couple of Rabbitohs fans there as well.
Did you?
So it was good to rub it in, and we smoked a rabbit on the Weber on the smoking barbecue. So, it was a good afternoon. Yeah.
That is awesome, man. That is awesome. All right, good morning, everyone. As you start to come in and hang out with the King and myself this morning, how was your weekend, brother? What'd you get up to?
Me, I helped Mum out with the lawns yesterday afternoon. That was beautiful. A couple of swims in the ocean, a couple of gym sessions.
Jesus.
It's good.
Look at you going on, mate. I love it. Where are you? Are you down in Ballina now?
I moved from Ballina to Nambucca Heads.
Nambucca Heads.
So, mid-north coast, just south of Coffs Harbour.
I was going to say just north, so it's just south. Okay, yeah, cool. Beautiful part of the world, mate. Home of the great white sharks as well.
Yeah, definitely. They're out there.
I like it. All right. So, guys, if you are coming in to watch this one live, we're going to be kickstarting in just a moment. Who we got here? Say hi in the comments, guys. Let us know that you are watching this with myself and Trav. I'm super pumped about this. Like, Trav, I'm going to wait till we start the podcast, mate, but I'm super pumped. Who we got? Mr. Lewis, how are you, my man? My little legend. Hey, Jimmy boy, how are you, brother? Good to catch up with you on the weekend, mate. Jerry, our boy Jerry, I think he could be a little mastermind candidate for the next one. He's in momentum. Welcome, Jerry. Caroline, how are you, darling? I hope you've had a beautiful weekend. You're probably snuggling up to a fireplace somewhere, hopefully. Bobby Gordon, what's going on, my man? Hopefully you've had a good weekend too, brother. Mikey Bergman, mate. We are expecting some more snow in Vancouver this week, Mike, so I'm guessing you're probably 10 feet under where you are, mate. Ezra, How are you, girl? I hope you're good. Mate, Mikey lives in this part of Canada, which is literally, like, next level, minus 40 and shit. So it's like, mate, not keen at all.
I see Strava walks, and he walks a kilometre, but he puts in deep snow. What a solid effort, yeah.
What's the multiple you've got to times it by, Mike? If it's a deep snow, what are you going to times it by, mate? Multiple of like
snowshoes on.
Exactly. Kilometres times 5, I'd reckon. Good morning, Joe. How are you, girl? I hope you've had a beautiful weekend too, friend. You are in some serious momentum, Joe. I love it. Trent, how are you, Barney? My little legend. Do you see Trent's before and after over the weekend, Trav?
Yeah, it's very great.
Mate, he's channeling his inner Travis. All right. Absolutely, brother. I think we are ready to rock and roll on this episode. So, let's do it. You ready to go, big dog?
Yeah, giddy up.
Giddy up. Let's go. All right, guys. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast that you come to if you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. I'm going to start off with letting you guys know that I'm actually a little bit nervous. It's really weird, Trav. I'm joined today by one of my favorite ever humans. His name's Travis Sandland. How are you, Trav?
Yeah, very well. Thanks, Jace.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Mate, I am this has been, we've been trying to get to this for the last 3 to 4 weeks since I first asked you to come on the podcast. I'm a little bit nervous because basically I don't want to fuck this up. And I'm being sincerely genuine, Trav. Like, man, your story, because your story before coming into BBA is one of like struggle and ups and downs. Then even with inside the year that you've been inside BBA, it's been like incredible. And as you start to really become a leader now inside of our academy, like I just think that anyone that listens to this episode is going to get some serious deep value, particularly if you're the sort of person that, you know, feels like giving up and you're up against it and I don't know, everything's just a struggle. I want you to listen to what this man has to say because he's been through it all. Now, Trav, the ground rules are that we can go as deep as you want to go, and we're not on the timer. You can tell all or tell what you feel comfortable with. I've not prompted Trav with any questions, so we're just going to get stuck in. So, guys, first up, if you want to ask Trav any questions, please pop them in the comments, and at the appropriate time, I will ask Trav the question. So, brother, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, mate. What's your backstory?
Yeah, well, look, name's Travis. I'm coming up to my 40th birthday soon. So I guess health and weight-wise, I started stacking on the weight about 12 years ago. Various reasons. Substance misuse and being prescribed certain medication from doctors, mental health crisis, led to significant weight gain. And, with the associated lifestyle, it was really sedentary. I wasn't doing much. I had 4 knee reconstructions in the last 10 years.
Shit, I didn't know that.
It was one after the other pretty much over a period of about 4 years. I kept damaging my left knee, and they kept going in and operating on it. And look, in hindsight, that was a conduit to have access to the drugs that I was using. So, it was just a real trudge.
What do you think, Trav, if you can take yourself back to that point? I think you said 12 years, was it?
Yeah.
What do you think was the main catalyst? You mentioned your knee, but was there other things kind of going on that were kind of pushing you down that avenue?
Well, just personally, I just remember a sense of no direction, no purpose, and desperately trying to find said purpose and direction, and ultimately thinking too hard about it.
True. Yeah. And you work now, if I'm correct, Trav, at least until recent, I don't know what the new position is, how you define it, how different it is, but you work on the rehab and counselling side of things now. How deep of a problem do you think, like, do you see with the mental health kind of crisis, be it in Australia, how much of a problem is this?
Yeah, it's massive. It is... I think it's slowly coming out. The sheets are being pulled off, and people are starting to talk about it. People are starting to recognise that it impacts lives in a massive way, and it goes hand in hand with substance misuse. It really does. So, it's a big one.
For someone that's been deep in, you mentioned that maybe it was a good conduit. What is it about the draw of substance misuse that you think? Like, what are people drawn to? Is it being taken away from there now? Is it just numbing out? Like, what's the basic reason that happens?
Yeah, both those things. I think it's a form of control. You've got a bit of control over how you're feeling and how you make your way in the world, I guess. And quite often, personally, and for a lot of people I meet, it kind of wraps you in a warm blanket. Whatever is your vice and becomes problematic in its use. It's just a shield against the world, really. Yeah.
Okay. That's a pretty good insight, man. Thank you for that. So let's go back to the very first kind of point of interaction that we had. Dude, I can't remember if it was the challenge that you did first or it was coming to me about the stomach. You're basically coming to the point of I need to have some sort of surgery to do something about my weight, right? So what was it that
Yep.
you'd actually kind of almost committed to with doctors? What was the actual process you were going to have done?
Yeah, I was close to getting a gastric sleeve.
Okay.
I had started the initial, investigations myself into that being an option, and that's coming off the back of 18 months of the yo-yo diets, the shakes. I remember one diet that I got onto. I was drinking aloe vera juice and eating only
Yeah, spit my coffee out.
eating only red meat and spinach and shit like that. And so yeah, the yo-yo, the shakes, and then I committed to getting the gastric sleeve, and there was a year-long process in between that decision and the actual sleeve. And I made that decision, and that's when some real action was able to be put in. And a couple of months later, I came across your 14-day Cut the Gut challenge, which was offered up pro bono.
Mm-hmm.
And I jumped on board that, and I got a sense of community. I got a sense of something that is going to work, and I saw some results in that 14 days.
What is the going back to, before we go into the challenge, going back to the gastric sleeve? Was that because, like, did you seriously go down that avenue because it was just like, fuck, there's no other options. I'm just lost for what to do. You didn't think, you thought your position was perhaps so unique. You had such little belief in yourself in follow through. Like, what was it that was like, no, I have to do this? Because I think a lot of people make that decision.
Yeah. It was easy. It was essentially, for me, I wanted the weight gone. I wanted to come back to a life post the game. I wanted to come back the easy way. And for me, the yo-yo dieting, the shakes, the fucking aloe vera juice was, the easy option, because I was taking something that someone was selling me, that something was giving me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I've got a couple of people that I know that have had the gastric sleeve and that have lost a significant amount of weight. And I thought, yeah, that could be for me. So I started researching it, and it was the easiest, softest way to get the ball rolling.
Out of interest, I have no idea. What does a gastric sleeve cost? Like, to get this actual surgery done, what does it cost?
Yeah, it was around 23,000.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's really interesting is if we look at, I was listening to one of my mentors talk about this the other day, Trav, where he talked about people will invest $23,000 into a gastric sleeve surgery, yet they won't invest 10% of that into coaching that's going to help you actually overcome this on a permanent basis. And so why is that? Why is someone willing to do 10 times the price for gastric surgery, but not for a coaching? And it really comes down to two things. Number one is the speed of which you get the result. And the second thing is the certainty to which you won't fail. And with a gastric sleeve, essentially, it's just taken out of your control, right? Whereas doing something in a more coaching format, probably the biggest barrier to you actually being successful is overcoming your own self-doubt. Would you agree with that, brother?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's the easiest option. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so we did the 14-day challenge. You mentioned about the community element of that being the thing that kind of drew you to it, and we run these occasionally. What I'm interested in is, and I remember, and this is why my memory's so vivid about our time, is that I think we had 2 false starts in getting you started, both as a client and permanently. And so you mentioned after the challenge finished, you said, Jace, I'm ready to go all in. And then you ghosted me for probably 3 to 6 months. And then you come back in 3 to 6 months and said, Jace, I'm ready to go all in again. And then you just completely ignored my message for like 3 to 6 months again. And then on the third time, you pressed go. So what I'm interested in is in that period where you just were kind of on the fence, what was it? Like, can you take yourself back to there and kind of ask yourself, like, what was it that was actually keeping you not moving forward or not getting off the fence?
Yeah, I think like many men, fear of commitment. I think women will vouch for that. Fear of committing to something that's really going to push me. And like I think I saw the results in the first 2 weeks, and then I don't know, maybe it was fear, maybe it was some inherent fear that I had of that change, and of what I needed to do, for myself.
Right.
That was going to get me, where I am today. And that fits. That it was just, I was still stuck. I was still holding on to that hot fry pan of being, the fat, miserable 30-something guy. And eventually, the pain became too great, and I needed to change.
Yeah, dude, that's a beautiful way to describe it, Trav. I think it's once you've noticed the pain, and all you can focus is on the pain, and the pain starts almost like boiling up like a water in a pot, and eventually it spills over, and the procrastination period is just how long the water takes to boil, right? Dude, I don't think, if I'm just completely honest, I don't think I have seen quite as dramatic transformation from one guy to where you are now. The reason I wanted to get you on the podcast is you supplied us a testimonial video, and I was watching this testimonial video back, and I was like, holy shit! Like, this guy is smart. This is after you'd done the mastermind, but this guy's smart, really intellectual, really charismatic, very like egoless, and so happy to help other people. And I remember watching it going like, fuck, man, this is the ideal client. If I look at someone like, someone like John Timmons, he was very successful in his business career, but not his fitness. So he was kind of able to push that over. But you've really just reincarnated yourself, man. Like, it's fucking unbelievable, to be honest. So at your heaviest, Trav, where did you get to? Like, where was the top weight you got to?
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I hopped on the scales I was in a institution in 2015. I was on a big drink of methadone, which is an opiate replacement drug. I was on antipsychotic medication, which slows the metabolism down, increases the appetite. So I hopped on the scales, 168 kilos. I remember 168.
That. Okay, cool. And guys, I want you to think about how brave it is for Trav to be talking about this stuff, because probably a little bit of it, when we go back to our past, it's quite triggering. But you got started. Tell me about the kind of initial changes that you made early on that you think made the most amount of difference, Trav, because you were, or at least at the time, a single man living alone. So how did you go about making those initial changes? What did you actually do physically?
You mean when I came on board the BBA?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was to follow the meal plan for the first 2 weeks in that 14-day cut the gut. Follow the meal plan, download the MyFitnessPal app, and start registering what I was eating, what I was putting in my mouth. And to start the 4-day body split program that he gave me, and getting into a gym that was really ripping the scab off for me, and just starting. And I remember feeling as though I was coming into momentum pretty quickly, because I committed to that 2 weeks. I went and did the shop. I went and got everything on that list, and there was a real energy to it. It was good,
dude. How had you trained in a gym in the last 5 to 10 years prior to that?
No, I hadn't stepped in a gym since I was 19.
Right. Which was that photo you put up on the weekend of you in a Panthers jersey. That was then. Oh, fuck! Wow.
That was a little bit after, but close. Yeah.
Close enough. What was it like to go in at 160 odd kilos into a gym, not having been in there in a decade, and just like, were you intimidated or were you just like, fuck it, I don't care? Like, what were the initial kind of feelings and resistances?
By the time I got in there, by the time I actually went in and joined up, it was fuck it, I don't care. I'm doing this for me, and that was tailing on from the pain of staying the same and being too great. So I was going to change. I was going to try something, or fucking have a heart attack trying. And so it was relief. I remember when I got in there, and that was all mixed with the fear and the ego. Fucking ego getting in the way, definitely. But yeah, for me, it was a sense of relief. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Getting in there and actually enjoying it. Yeah.
Dude, aside from the weight loss, which we can talk about in a second, like, you're brutally strong now. Like, I remember your first kind of videos that you popped up in the group, and you had, the little like 10 kilo bar with like little 2.5 kilo plates doing a shoulder press, and you were never egotistical about your approach. You were always just like, I don't care if I'm a big boy that's at the time not very strong, but over time you did it. I would call you a pretty strong guy now. Like you hold your own in the gym, right, with what you lift.
Yeah, definitely. I bounce around the gym with my headphones in. It's great.
So good.
Yeah.
So fucking good. Okay, so we're gonna fast forward to go slightly backwards. So where are you at now? So at the top you're at 168. You didn't, to make it clear, you didn't ever follow through with the gastric sleeve.
No.
And where are you now?
I'm sitting at 108. Yeah, is the
wow.
That's the mainstay for the moment, is around that, and I'm maintaining that. And so when I reflect on that, it hits home, because I did step on the scales in 2015, and it was 168. Yeah. 168.
So from the top at 168 down to 108, that's a 60 kilogram transformation. Like, unreal. Trav, do you think and be honest here, do you think you're at the point where you can maintain this weight, or is this something that you don't feel still quite in control of? Or do you think that, no, this is me now?
I could certainly blow out again. I'm under no illusion that could happen if I stop being that 1% better every day. Absolutely. But this isn't the end. No, the 100 to 103 is probably the end goal. But I'll sustain what I'm doing now with what I'm doing now.
Nice. Yeah. Do you enjoy the process now? Do you enjoy the process of going to the gym? Do you enjoy the process of, more than anything, we teach our guys the affirmation, I am a healthy man, or I am a healthy woman. Like, more than anyone, I get a sense that when you say that, like, you put up photo up in our Facebook group and you say, I'm a fucking healthy man. And it just like, it's not a statement. It's almost like you own that phrase. Like, when you say that, what does it do? Does it like get you going? Like, Trav, to be honest, like, I'm just super fucking, like, I just want to pull your mind apart, because if I can understand better the things that you've gone through and the hurdles that you've crossed, dude, I think you would make an amazing coach. Like, honestly, because you've lived it and been it. And people in our academy, both men and women, see you as this, like, fuck, this guy's a beast. So what are the changes, like, that happen? Let's let go of the weight for a moment. Just in your life, what other kind of things have happened as a product of you changing your physical?
Yeah. Well, you can start with the affirmations. I certainly was introduced to the concept of affirmations early in my recovery, and by being in here and being involved with you and the BBA, kind of dropped the contempt that I had for them and just started trying them. And yeah, it's with the habits. Creating new habits is just do it, and the results will come. So I can quite often pull myself out of a funk with those affirmations that I'm a healthy, handsome, happy man. That becomes a mantra sometimes, and then I give it voice, as in I actually speak it aloud while I'm walking, and so I put it out there, and it's a beautiful thing.
That's amazing. And talk to us about the changes in your life generally, because obviously you've moved recently. A few things have happened. Like what non-physical things are we talking about? Like what's happened with confidence, self-esteem, energy, any of those things that you kind of probably haven't really given and talked about?
Confidence, absolutely. I started to build a new life a few years ago, and started to build a life a few years ago. And, with that comes, being that productive member of society. And so that those wheels are genuinely in motion now. So the confidence and resilience, resilience is definitely there, comes to mind. The ability to recognize when I'm in a funk, definitely. And, in BBA language, then I love being able to recognize that. And then the next thought is, I'm choosing to think like this. I am actively choosing to engage in this horse shit that my head's creating, so I can actively choose to think differently.
Dude, I love it. A bit more self-awareness has come aboard you, which is which I don't know whether it's the chicken or the egg. Do you kind of lose some physical weight and so you get more mentally self-aware, or do you become more self-aware? It doesn't really matter. The point is, look, guys, I'm going to ask you, if you do want to ask Trav any questions, now's the time to do it. Pop it in the comments if you're watching live. I'm just going to read out Lucas's comment here. Trav, you seem like an even better version of yourself since you did the mastermind drop-in. You haven't plateaued at all. So for those of you to kind of understand what Lucas is talking about, Trav did the mastermind program, the first men's mastermind with us. He then came in and spoke like this to the guys in our second mastermind, just with a little bit of a drop-in. How triggering and important was the mastermind for you, Trav? Dealing with more like the deeper shit. How important was that?
Oh, it was a massive growth stage for me. Definitely, when the concept was introduced to me to burn identities, to let go of ideas that were holding me, potentially holding me back, I really had to reflect on that. And I did reflect on that. I got angry. I got, despaired a little bit, and more than a little bit. And but that's the balance. I've managed to balance who I'm becoming with who I've identified as, and come to a middle ground with it.
Wow, dude. Oh, it just gets me so excited talking about this stuff. I'm just going to read out a couple of comments. Congratulations, Trav, from Nino, on what you've achieved. Yes, the weight loss, but also overcoming all of the challenges. And Christy says, no questions. Just think he's a bloody superstar. One of the most inspiring transformations. Trav, how does it feel as we wrap this up to actually be now an inspiration to like other people that are starting their journey either inside or outside the academy? Like, you are a legitimate inspiration to people. Like, how does that feel good?
Yeah, absolutely. Once I get past that, the embarrassment, it feels great. And Nino, I went to high school with.
Wow.
So to know he's watching and he's online, if he's watching, I still owe you a lot of money for all that, all the dollar coins you gave me for the cans of Coke. I remember that. It's beautiful to know that I can influence and provide that, whatever it is for people to be energized by. It's fantastic because that's what has happened for me. I've been energized by people in this group and other people that have walked a similar journey.
Oh, mate, it's beautiful. I'm just going to read out a couple more comments before we wind this one up. Paul says, I'm not part of the BBA, just wanted Trav to know that he's a bloody inspiration. Sometimes, as you'll recognise these days, if you let others know where you've come from, for them to appreciate how far you've actually come. Jerry says, Jace is 100% right, Trav. You would be an amazing coach. And Jim says, hey, Trav, are you more than impressed with the mindset changes or the weight loss? That's a question. Are you more impressed with the mindset changes or the weight loss?
Oh, it's kind of chicken and egg in itself. I think, it's mindset. Yeah, because without the weight loss and the evidence that it can be done, then the mindset wouldn't be there. So,
dude, so sick. The comments keep coming, Trav. Don't be embarrassed. It's daunting, yes, to think you're an inspiration, but the fact is you are. So ride the wave, mate. That's from Troy. That's beautiful. Trav, as a final question, is there anything that you would either like to share or you wish that I'd asked you, because you would have been thinking about having this chat? I'm sure there's maybe one or two of that. Is there anything that you wish that I'd asked you or anything that you'd like to share before we wind this interview up?
No, I didn't really have much thought behind coming on board this. I just agreed to it a few weeks ago, then things got in the way of that happening. And once it was go, I just let it go and come to it this morning.
I love the fact that you are... This is a really interesting interview. When we were talking with Christy, it's like bang, 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 bang. And with you, there's plenty of pause and plenty of space. And I love that because that suggests to me that, and I'm not comparing it to Christy, I'm saying you're just very in control and self-aware now. And sometimes I think speaking at the pace and the way that you want to talk and you want to communicate really just shows that you're in control, man. So I'm going to finish off our chat there, Trav. This has been like super privilege for me, man. It's really important, I think, for our community and you to know that having leaders like you, actually Mike Bergman has just said that, the front of the wolf pack, having leaders like you makes the job of our coaches so much better. Whether you're a coach in an official term or not, my belief is that the people who are actually coaches are the ones that are setting great example for their peers, and you do that every single freaking day. It'd be a mistake of me not to give you an opportunity to let out one solo wolf call as you do from the beach. Are you going to give us one, Trav?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an absolute, pleasure to come on board and have a more intimate chat with you on this platform.
Love it.
And
put us out of our misery, mate. Come on, give it to us.
I just wish everyone to have a fucking great Monday.
We're going to finish off on that note. I love this bloke. Thanks so much for coming on, Trav. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast that you come to when you're ready to rewrite your story as the Trav has done. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget, if you'd like to leave us a review, head over to the Apple or Spotify stores and do so. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.